Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to the Magic Cancel meeting. if y'all were here last time, or you've been keeping up with all the happenings in the Toongether Academy, you will know that we have a very mysterious trio, and that all of you have been speculating, either by yourselves or with me. We have been speculating about what their histories are, what their dark secrets are, and what they could possibly be up to. So a lot of you came up with theories. If you were here last time, we came up with new theories, discussed old ones, and finally we have a new chapter to our story where we have put into action and come up with or discovered the real dark secrets of our trio. So today we're going to be looking at what these dark secrets are now that we have finally discovered the truth behind all the madness. We're going to look at what the truth is. So come along with me. We're going to read through this new chapter, and I'm curious to hear what y'all think. Were your theories right? Did your theories have some aspects that were correct, but maybe not the whole picture? I'm really curious about whether or not y'all were right, because I know that some things that I was speculating, some things were correct, but not all. I was off a little bit, just a tiny bit. But let's go through and see what the truth is. Okay. So I'll be reading the chat throughout the live stream, so feel free to say hello and let me know what y'all think about the truth behind our trio. All right, I'm looking at the chat. Hello, hello. Okay, let's get into it. So here we have episode 2, Whispers in the Magical World. If you haven't read episode 1 already, I recommend that you go check it out. But we're going to be skipping episode 1 for today because we did last time. So let's get into episode 2. Hi everyone! Hi everyone in the chat. Are y'all having a good Thursday? I hope wherever you are, whatever time it is, I hope you're having a great Thursday. Okay, so episode 2. Let's get into it. Okay, like I was saying before, after a very thorough investigation where all of you helped us, and with a few keen ears listening in, the headmistress has gathered key information on our 3 suspects. All right, so let's jump into what is going on with Olivia. What is her dark secret? What does her past entail? All right, so Olivia was born in an ancient and wealthy family of authors and storytellers. She was raised on her father's estate, where she always had all she wished for, including her very own horse, which, by the way, one of you theorized that she was a horse rider. That was correct. She is very wealthy, and therefore she rides horses in her free time. Maybe she plays polo too. So, however, she does not possess her line's natural storytelling prowess. She fears disappointing her parents and being unworthy of her legacy. As a result, she made a deal with a mysterious character that granted her the power to steal creativity from others, which we'll get into a bit later, but I've noticed that there's kind of a theme with our trio of a dark character keeps kind of coming up in each of their pasts, which I wonder if it's the same dark character, different. Maybe there's just a lot of evil people in this world. I don't know, but I'm seeing a theme here. All right, moving on. Naturally, her storytelling capabilities have now greatly improved. The price, however, is her debt to the mysterious individual, for whom she must spy on the academy. So, with all great things come a price, I suppose, and we're kind of seeing a scale with Livia. So on one hand, she has these great storytelling powers, but on the other hand, she has a debt to pay and is, maybe not acting the best. All right. Now for Francoise. She was born an only child in a proud family of dark tellers. For countless generations, her ancestors have traded morals for power. When she was just 6 years old, her body was offered as a vessel to a demon spirit. That's a horrible thing to happen at only 6 years old. It's a horrible thing to happen at any age, but especially at 6 years old, I would argue. This union makes her highly unpredictable. She has now been assigned a mission by her family. Infiltrate the Toongether Academy and corrupt students to turn them into dark tellers. Francoise lives each day conflicted, torn between her true self and the demon inside. So again, I'm starting to draw parallels between our trio. So I feel like Francoise and Livia both have this conflicting nature. You know, they might not be evil people, but they have parts of them, whether it be they have a debt to pay or they have, you know, a demon possessing them that is pulling them in an evil direction. So, I don't know, just drawing conclusions. Maybe I shouldn't, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but that's the fun part about stories, is you start to analyze, draw parallels, and see things that maybe we don't know about yet. All right, now for Marty. Marty had a rough childhood. His family was very poor. His father was an evil dark teller who left a legacy of destruction in his wake. The powers of darkness dwell deep within his blood. The dark tellers are quite interested in him as they want him to continue his father's work. In an attempt to save his brother and mother from poverty, he made a deal with one of his father's ancient colleagues. So, like as I was saying earlier, there's always a deal, or I don't know, who is this, you know, mysterious evil character that's drawing these students into their plotting? Maybe we'll find out later on. He sacrificed his hands and did a terrible job for them, which he deeply regrets. Now, he wants to join the academy as a fresh start and to offer his family a better life through his success. Dear students, your help was precious and the academy thanks you. But we are yet to find which student is fated to turn into a dark teller. And the academy will open very soon. Your help is needed more than ever. To be continued. And we also included some credits down here as a thanks to all the people who shared their speculations, either on social media, on the challenges on toongether, or in our last council meeting. So we're very grateful for all of y'all's help, because it's very important that we figure out what is going on with our trio. What is this evil darkness that is surrounding our school? And it has only just begun, and a lot can still happen. So we're going to continue to need y'all's help. So thank you for coming and joining on this Thursday. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into, we have 3 new challenges on the app. Let me know in the comments if y'all have partaken in any of them. Have you tried out the challenges yet? I hope that maybe you haven't yet, so that we can do it together. But if you have already, it's okay. It'll still be new because I'll put my own twist on it, but with y'all's help too, of course. Because my favorite part about these council meetings is that we work together and we collaborate, and I'm not alone. Because creating is always more fun together. Okay, so here's some new featured stories, super cool. All right. You're saying you already did. Okay, let me know, did you do all 3? And what did you put for them? I'm wondering which one I want to start with. Try to think which one speaks to me more. Let's just go in order. And let's do share your magic trick. All right. 1 sec. Or maybe I'm gonna do... No, let's go with share your magic trick. Okay. Reading y'all's comments. Okay. So here's Marty. He says, you weren't supposed to see me in here. The forbidden section is off limits. But I'll let you go if you show me your best magic trick. What are we gonna do? What should my... If you saw me, what would you think my magical power is? I've thought about this a lot, and I feel like, I don't know, to give y'all some information about me, my zodiac sign is Taurus. Does that help at all? Okay, let me pull up my character. This is my new, I've had several different characters, but this is my new character I'm claiming for the Magic Academy Dark Arts Week. Because my other character was she was giving very civilian, had no magical powers. But this girl, this is me as a witch. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna go to the poses first, and I feel like I'll get inspired by what my magic power could be. I'm thinking it could be cool to have some sort of like, either something to do with the elements or something to do with like the earth or something. I don't know, that's kind of the direction I'm going in. But actually, maybe I want to see what y'all have come up with first to get some inspiration. See, this is cool. Like something with the elements, like I was saying. Like he created a miniature sun. That I want to be able to create a miniature sun. Ooh. Her magic power is she speaks Latin. Ooh, this is really cool. I like the panel work on this one. Also, this character is so cool looking. Okay, you're saying maybe earth power / healing power. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. All right. I'm looking at the responses too. Ooh, musical binding. That's pretty cool. I can't do something like that because I sadly don't know how to play a musical instrument. If y'all know how to play an instrument, let me know. Because I'm always really impressed by that, because as a child, my parents didn't put me in classes. So I'm always jealous of people who can. Hi, welcome to the council meeting. I'm glad you were able to make it. All right. Very cool. Ooh, I like the effects in this one. All right, you're saying you could play guitar and piano. Okay, that's impressive. Can you play guitar and piano at the same time? Spinning a rainbow. Okay, I think, like what you said, Jenna, I'm going to go with the nature and healing powers. I think that sounds good to me. All right, get my character. And let's see if there's a pose I can use from here. Maybe even just in magic. Trying to think how I want to set up my panel. These are so cool. All right. You know what? Maybe I want to do like something like this last one where her hand is on the ground and there's a plant growing. I want to do maybe something like that. I'm not going to use that pose. I'm going to create something myself, but I still want it to be maybe like a plant growing. I feel like that could be cool. Like maybe something like this. And then I can put plants around her. Around myself, I mean, obviously. All right, like all sorts of, like, did y'all ever watch that movie? What was it called? Oh no, it's gonna bother me if I don't remember. It's a movie where they all attend a high school and it's floating, and they all, for the most part, have magic powers, but there's someone evil, and at the end, it was on Disney Channel. And one of the girls, she has earth powers, like plant powers, and people always teased her because they're like, what's the point of that? But then in the final like fight scene, she's able to like fight someone by wrapping a vine around them. This is what it's reminding me of. I'm her. I'm inspired by her. So even though you might think plants are not super impressive, I think that they can be. Ah, you're saying you remember that movie. Do you remember the title of it? I loved it. But I feel like people don't really talk about it anymore because it's like a, you know, it's like a Disney Channel movie. There's not really a huge lasting fan base, I don't think. All right, let's place this over here. And we need some more plants. So the ones that aren't directly like growing from the ground, I'm gonna place. Ah, yes, it was it Magic High? That doesn't sound right, but maybe that's what it was. All right, yeah, as I was saying, the ones that aren't like, don't seem like they're growing from the ground, I'm gonna place behind her because they're supposed to be growing from the ground. Sky High. I think that's what it was called. I think it was called Sky High because the high school was like floating in the sky. I think that's what it was. All right, let's put this, actually, let's put this a little in front. I like the way this is turning out, actually. I'm kind of impressed. And maybe I'm gonna wrap like a vine in front of her. Put this all the way in the front. Also, I don't know if y'all can tell from watching, but I'm squinting so much, I really need to get glasses. Yes, okay, it is Sky High. We found it. That was a great movie. All right, so do y'all think I should describe what this power is, or do you think the graphics tell the story for me? I think I'm just gonna leave it at this. Maybe I'll add a few more plants. I really like the vines though, because I feel like that is what makes it really impressive. Ooh, maybe I should throw in some, you know, not just green, but blue. I feel like that's what really makes it more magical. In my personal opinion. Ah! All right. Yeah. The more colors, the merrier. That's what I always say. Ooh, I love plants like this. They always smell so good. Though they're usually hanging from something, so I don't know if it'll make sense there. I have a feeling I might get carried away with this. When there's so many different assets we can use, like how can you resist using them all? Are y'all more of a maximalist or a minimalist when you do your panels? That's the question I have for y'all. I'm gonna have some going out of frame too. I think, ooh, should I have one? You know what? Should I have a vine like going, oops. Should I have a vine going towards Marty and wrapping him in it? I think so. All right, let's get some vines on Marty. How does that look? Are we happy with that? I'd say I am. All right, you're saying I go too far. Well, maximalism doesn't have to be too far, you know, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I feel like there's good aspects of both. All right, yes, wrap up Marty. Huh. Okay, I have him stuck in the vines. All right, let's respond. All right, 1 second, and then I'm curious to see what the response to this will be. Will Marty, I mean, how is he gonna escape? That's what I wanna know. All right, just making sure it's there, all good. Not sure what Marty's gonna do about that. He does have the like gold light coming from his hands. I wonder if maybe he has some sort of power with his hands, like he can burn things. I don't know. That would be quite convenient for him if he could just burn the vines, but we'll see. We'll see, we'll see. All right, Livia's turn. All right, Livia caught you sneaking around. How does your character react? Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna read some of y'all's responses. I'm practicing my magic on my downtime. I was just practicing my magic, yep. Hot or cold? I guess it must be cold this way. Ooh, fire pretty. Fighter time. I think, again, I'm gonna look at poses and kind of let that inspire me. I kind of like to do it that way, you know? All right, let's grab my character once again. There she is. Ooh, I could say that I was sleepwalking or something like that. I wonder if there's... The only thing is all the sleeping poses she'll probably be laying down, no? Let me see. What do we have here? I could do a reverse Uno card and scare her more than she's scaring me. Like, what if I just came at her like this? That is terrifying. Oops, I always do that. I always delete the character and I don't need to. Okay. Or I could say I was bringing her flowers or something. Like try to play it off as I was just being nice, you know? I was looking for you. Or like bringing you tea or something. Let's see. Oh look, Benzanith, it's you with the guitar. See, sometimes with poses, if she's laying down, play around and turn her right side up, see how it looks. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know if I've requested sleeping, though, with my character. I haven't. So I would need to do that, perhaps, unless there are some... yeah, okay. Let's see, sleeping. Yeah, like, because if I do like this, I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks more like she's laying down. So let's, oops. Oh no, you see what I mean? I always delete them and I don't need to do that. Okay. I think that I'm gonna bring her flowers. I'm gonna be nice. I was torn between, am I gonna turn into a demon or do something nice? But I'm gonna do something nice. All right, so I'm gonna say I was bringing these for you. There we go. And then she's gonna feel bad that she started whipping out her fireball at me. All right. Okay, that one is done. Let's hop on over to the last one, share your villain. This is a tough one because I'm gonna look at some of the characters I have already created because I feel like I have some villainous people in here that look like they're up to no good. Let's see. Like this guy right here. Well, okay, he looks really sweet hugging the pillow, but I'm gonna show y'all. He has bones on his outfit. Doesn't that look kind of scary? Let's see. Such a pretty bouquet. Since her power is earth, she could have made it herself. Exactly. I forgot to mention that earlier, but I made it myself. I grew the flowers myself. Okay. So I want my villain to be, I'm not completely decided if I'm going to use him, but I do want my villain to be a bit understated. Like, I don't want something super obvious and scary. So I think that's going to work. Because she also looks like she could be a villain. Let's see. He is not a villain, just a child of Halloween. Oh no! Does that mean I need to... Is he not scary enough? Maybe I need to... I mean, what about this guy? Oh no, he has hearts on his cheeks. That's not very scary either. I guess I could go through the characters that have been generated not by myself. But I did want to use something that I created. Saying I can see her being a villain. Okay. I'm going to go with her then. Let's look at some of the poses she has. I feel like it's the dark circles under her eyes. Like she doesn't sleep at night because she's too busy creating chaos. And she's giving me kind of, how do I explain? Like she's a villain, but in a fun way. Like she has a very fun, chaotic personality. She's humorous, kind of like Loki. Like she's funny. She's a funny gal, but she's also evil. Okay. Ooh, we have some good ones here. Okay. Ooh, this is cool. I guess first I need to, what do we want her motive to be? What do y'all think? We already have the dark circles under her eyes because she doesn't sleep because she's too busy plotting at night. But that's not exactly a motive. That's kind of like what she does with her motive. But I'm going to add that right now. Okay. She never sleeps because she's too busy plotting. Yeah, why is there a demon behind this? What is... All right, let's look at some of the poses again. You're saying, oh, you might be right, I am. Yeah, I think that's definitely part of it. But what could her evilness be? Let's try and get some clues from looking at her appearance. I feel like it's gonna give us some clues. She has vials around her waist. So that could mean something. I think that part of her evil magic is that she uses it to poison people. I think she creates poisonous, like, she has vials of poison. So again, that's a detail, but it's not her true motive. She uses her dark magic to create vials of poison. All right, reading y'all's comments. Her look is weird because it's a mix of darkness and light. That is true. I think that maybe, okay, that's a good direction. I think that part of her motive, or part of her story, her background, she wasn't always evil. But I think that's like the best kind of villain, is they weren't always evil, but something caused them to go down that path. So I think that something bad happened to her as a child. And that's why she has this kind of like, it's like Arrested Development. She has this childish, carefree, humorous character about her. Are y'all catching? Are y'all following? I think that's part of it. So something bad happened to her as a child that has led her to now create vials of poison and never sleep. Ooh, maybe her motive was she wasn't good enough to enter the academy. That's a great idea. Okay. Let's roll with that. Okay. As a child, she was not good enough to be accepted into the academy. Let's put toongether Academy to be more specific. And now, reading y'all's comments. Yeah, there is a new article. Okay, so as a child, she was not good enough to be accepted into the Toongether Academy, and now she creates vials of poison in order to... Does she give it to the students at the academy? I think that would make sense. Alright, she now uses to create vials of poison, which she distributes to the students. All right. Now, but she never sleeps because she's too busy plotting. She's too busy working towards the downfall of the academy. Okay. All right. Wait. I always try to make them like more. Okay. Okay. What do y'all think of that? Reading y'all's comments. Hello. Yeah, poison's so dark. It is pretty dark. This is maybe not for kids, but there we go. That's my villain. That's our villain. We created her together. Okay. So let me read through it. Let's do a proofread. As a child, she was not good enough to be accepted into the Toongether Academy. She now uses her dark magic to create vials of poison, which she distributes to the current students. She never sleeps because she's too busy working on the downfall. Oops, that's not. Working on the downfall and destruction of the academy. All right. Very nice. There we go. Now the 3 challenges are done. Ooh, should we create an evil villain wallpaper? Hold on, I want to see if the other ones have been responded to. I don't think they have. No, I don't think so. Okay. Organize the text in a square. Ah, yes. I guess I could have done that, but it's a bit too late. I can go back. All right. Okay. Let's go back and edit it. Okay. Yeah, I feel like if anyone didn't have enough sleep, they would also go evil or be evil. So I can't say that I really blame her. All right. Is this what you're wanting? Like this? However, okay. I need to make room for her. And I need to make sure that we see her vials of poison. Wish says I was late. Can you give me a quick catch up? Yes, I can. So I can go back and read the episode 2 again, but let's just talk about it. And I want to get y'all's thoughts. So before you got here, we read episode 2, which kind of puts into concrete action the 3, our trio and their dark pasts and dark secrets, which you all theorized about, and in our last council meeting we spoke about a bit, and now we have our final concrete theories. They're not really theories now, they're truths, which you all voted on, and now we know the truth. So with Marty, we know that he has had a very difficult upbringing. He, as a child, his family was very poor, And on top of that, his dad was an evil dark teller, which, you know, that dark teller blood now runs through the veins of Marty. So this clan of dark tellers are looking at him like this guy can continue our legacy. And in order to, I guess, receive a better life for his family, he made a deal with a pretty sketchy colleague, past colleague of his father, and he had to pay the price with something with his hands. He kind of, we're not sure exactly what's up with his hands, but something not good, something bad. And so now he's at the academy, working hard, studying, hoping to turn, you know, the lives around for his family and really secure a better future for them. But in the back of his mind, he knows that the dark tellers, they're looking at him. They know that he might have something up his sleeve. He might be their future. All right, so that is for Marty. Let me just pull up so we can look at the visuals while I speak about it. Okay, I'm gonna save it like this. Maybe we'll come back to it later, but let's look at the story together. So, all right, so I already spoke about Marty. As for Livia, she was, born really into a very ancient, wealthy family, and they're all amazing at storytelling. They're all great authors, but she unfortunately doesn't have this gift. But it is important to note that she did grow up as a horse rider. That is a theory that did turn into truth. So, in order to have the powers that her family has in storytelling, she made a sketchy deal with a sketchy character. Once again, need to stop meeting sketchy people in alleys and making poor choices and bad deals, but whatever. Our trio has not learned that yet, and they did what they did. So now she does have storytelling powers, but she owes a debt to this mysterious person for whom she must spy on the academy. So she is an evil spy, is what we have. Maybe she's not evil, but she's a spy for an evil person. So, I mean, you know, not making the best choices. And now for Francoise, she was born an only child into a family of dark tellers, and they are not the best kinds of people. They don't really have morals. They are just power-hungry individuals. So when she was just 6 years old, her own family offered her as a vessel to a demon spirit, and now she is very unpredictable. And I'm reading your comments. Okay. And so now she's very unpredictable and, you know, is combating the demon inside her versus her own thoughts and feelings. And so she hasn't really learned how to overcome this demon, which wants her to infiltrate the Toongether Academy and corrupt students to turn them into dark tellers. So yeah, she's torn between her true self and the demon inside. And yeah, Marty I already explained to y'all. Here's the, you know, bad stuff with his hands. And yeah, so basically thank y'all for helping us uncover the truths behind our trio, and there's a lot more to come. All right, so it says the link to the new article is now shared on Discord. Maybe Dallas can give it a read after. Yes, sure, let's go for it. All right, saying these sketchy characters seem to have great influence on the world build. I would definitely like to hear more about this faction. Yeah, exactly. And before you came, Wish, I was talking about how we can kind of see some parallels between our characters, or our three characters, because they all seem to have made weird deals with mysterious people. So on one hand, we know we have the dark tellers, but I'm wondering, is there more to the story? Are there more characters we have yet to uncover that are maybe drawing a line between our trio. I don't know, maybe connecting them. I don't know, it's possible. All right, so the new. Ah, here we go. All right, so let's see. The new article is about crafting your best villain, which we were just doing with my gal who creates poison. So let's jump in a bit more into this, because with every great story there always is a villain, especially a story of magic and adventure and action and fantasy. There's always at least one bad guy. So this article is aimed at teaching us how we can create the villain in our story. All right, so as I read through this, I want to hear what y'all think. If you have any tips of your own, or if there's anything in the article that you have done yourself, or if you have any information about the villains in your own story, I want to hear about it, because I'm really curious. All right. So, greetings students, I'm your magic book. Every aspiring storyteller has one. Now please open your book to page 94. In this magical storytelling class, we'll learn the key elements necessary to summon your very best villain. A story without its villain is like a car without its wheels, it won't move. But while it may sound easy, crafting a believable and compelling villain might just drive you crazy. And if it drives you crazy, you might just end up the villain inside your own story. All right. So, the coolest villains are always the ones you actually get attached to. So try to avoid the overdone monster cliche. Yeah, so that's kind of like what I was saying earlier. I didn't want to just do this like demon looking character, because as I was saying, I feel like the most interesting ones they weren't always evil. Who is just born into this world immediately evil? There's usually a backstory. And I feel like if you create a villain has a past, that you can even kind of see, obviously they're evil, but you can kind of see what led them to be that way. It makes your story have some more depth. All right. So the more you've thought their backstory through before bringing them into your own story, the more real they'll feel. Okay. And there's Gollum. All right. So, the potion of fatal gaze. This mixture will give your villain a lot of charisma, but it's not easy to prepare. Well, I'll give you a part of the recipe anyway. So here's Livia. She has a very suspicious face, which fuels speculation, which is so true. I remember when everyone was theorizing and trying to think, what is their past? What is their dark secret? Who is the future Dark Teller? I'll say, even myself, I looked at her and I was like, she has the face of a Dark Teller. She looks super sus and mean. So that's true. That's a great move to make, is to already set up this speculation by giving them a face that just looks not super nice. All right. Despite an innocent expression, one detail can spark confusion. And that's true. A lot of people were like, she has this huge scar on her face. She must have been doing some evil, crazy stuff. And lastly, a character ready to do anything to survive might make bad choices. And that's just like what I was saying earlier. It adds depth to your story. Like, they didn't choose to be evil. It was their own situation that led them to make desperate choices. All right, remember you can create anything you want in the Toongether Academy. Now time to close the book and go back to your stories. All right, so let us know what you think. And like I was saying, have y'all had success in coming up with your own villains in your stories? Who do you think is going to be the villain of our three of our trio, who do you think is going to end up being the Dark Teller? And yeah, let me know what y'all think. Was that helpful for y'all? I'm going to read your comments. All right. Could be the Dark Tellers or a darker group behind them. Yeah, that's true. There could be. I mean, we have the Dark Tellers, but maybe there's one main person leading them who's doing the sketchy meetups and deals, or I don't know. There's so many different options. There's so many different directions we could go in. All right, so yeah, what do y'all want on the next article? What would be helpful for y'all? Is there anything that y'all want to learn more about or have had problems with your own stories? Is there anything that y'all want to learn more about? All right, Wish said the best villains are the ones that we can empathize with or an embodiment of a literal force of nature. If the storytellers create possibilities, then the death and order of creativity is the counter. Yeah, it's so true. The ones that we can empathize with and we can kind of, understand where they're coming from are the best. It's almost like, I mean, in the end, Snape wasn't a villain, but once we discovered his whole story and it's like he became such a stronger character. So maybe we'll have something like that in our story. Jenna says she loves her villain. Who is your villain? Tell us some more about them. This is giving Thanos was right. No. All right. The ones that they feel are in the right but are very wrong. Awesome types of villains. Yeah, it's so funny when they're just, it's like Thanos, when they're so sure of themselves. It's like, I don't know, they're living in a different world. Their hearts are so corrupted by their evilness. All right, I'm gonna let Jenna tell us about her. There she goes. She has white long curly hair and pink eyes if you go to that short. Yes, I remember seeing your short. She looked super cool. And I think the best part about her is, it didn't fall into the typical villain looking like, super just like evil. Like she looks cool. Like she's a cool looking villain. You see, I love seeing my own comic on Featured. Yes, congratulations. Congrats. All right, everyone. Well, that is everything for today. We've caught up on episode 2 and we discussed a bit, the true dark secrets of our 3 students, which all of you helped to come up with and work with us on, and the whole community voted on and came up with their new theories. So that is all thanks to y'all. And then we went through the 3 challenges, which if you haven't done yet, I recommend you go do because it's super fun. And lastly, we checked out our new article about crafting your own villain. So it was a really nice council meeting with all of you today, and I will see y'all next week. Thanks again for coming, and have a great rest of your Thursday and a great weekend. Bye.